See if the chat room's in. Let me double check with YouTube. And I'll keep this running in the background just in case. All right, I'm going to try typing in here. Test. Someone tell me if you can see, hear, etc. Cool. All right, while we're waiting for this to confirm, I'm going to make sure I have my charts open. So, Cole, I don't know if you know, but I opened a Telegram and I'm running a challenge account publicly like I used to back in the day, except it's way fucking harder
nice.
now because everything is not up only anymore.
Indeed. You actually have to know how to trade, right?
Crazy, isn't it? I have the YouTube link up. I just refreshed it, but I don't see us yet. It says it's waiting at 11:01.
I see that as well.
Doesn't show you live yet?
No, it says 17 waiting, scheduled for December 6th.
Hold on. Oh, fuck. It just started a whole different link. That's unfortunate. I guess we have to share a different link.
That's fine. Just send it to me and I will edit it in the Crypto Insiders.
Okay. Just sent it to you. And I got to retweet it out.
There.
That's so funny. All right, cool.
Re-click the link.
Wait, am I live on two different links now? Am I?
Hopefully not.
What? See, this is why we don't test out new platforms live. All right, well, we have...
this looks good. Yeah, no, the other link's work. The other link's not live, but the new link is.
All right, I'll just chat here. Go here instead, sorry. All right, well, everyone who's in here, welcome back to another day with Ponzi. Today we have the legend, someone I actually looked up to for a long time in the markets. And Cole, introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? Zoran Kole, Captain Kole on Twitter. Discretionary derivatives trader. That's the best way to describe myself, right?
Love to hear it. So you were just telling me, I want you to repeat it. You took a little break from the markets, but you're back. Where'd you go? What'd you do? And did you actually not trade? Because I know, just like myself, a lot of people can't step away for good and not touch buttons.
Yeah, man. So first of all, I took the whole summer off to kind of get summer shredded. My goal was to get down to like 7-8% body fat. I think I hit like 9 point something at the final at like 178, which was sick. Had a great time refueling my mental health, my physical health, emotional health, etc. In terms of trading over the summer, I took one trade all summer, and it was the merge trade. I think I bought like 1,300 and sold pretty close to 2,000 or just above 2,000. Good trade, and that was basically it. So yeah, now that the markets have taken the turn that they've taken, it's been a whole year of down only. It seems like as good a time as any to start looking to get back into the markets and at least observe, right? So one thing I always think about is like, you can't time the markets, but if you just check out, you're very likely to miss the inevitable echo bubble I love to talk about. So I think it's coming, and I want to be here for it. So here I am back in the markets.
So was it hard not to trade?
Oh man, yeah, it's super hard. Let's just be real. I think trading, especially crypto trading, is an addiction. Just gonna be point blank period say that. And you have to kind of figure out how you manage this addiction and how often you kind of find a work-life balance where you're not staring at charts 24/7. So yeah, it's tough, dude. But like as long as you touch grass or try to touch as much grass and water as you can, you're probably on the right track to kind of getting some distance.
Did you have to delete Twitter at all for a short amount of time?
Didn't delete it. I just didn't open it.
That's good.
Yeah, so I was
That's
pretty
self-control.
restrained. Yeah, I was restrained there.
So what are your thoughts now?
All right, so if we're talking about just this week, right, we had a nice weekend pump. That was a scam pump, and we kind of got shot down going into the new weekly open.
Wait, actually share your screen before you continue. Let's do that so people can see. What up,
Yep.
ISO? Welcome to the party. We should actually send ISO a link to join us at some point too. Here, I got you in there. All right, bingo.
All right, so again, we had this huge move over the weekend. We went to 17.4. We squeezed a whole bunch of shorts, And then, the week came, and then we just had a nice sell-off. I still think from a medium perspective, we still have this untested 16.6, 16.4 level that we are going to test eventually. If you want to argue that this was the giga bottom, whatever, that's fine. But realistically, if you zoom out, we're still in a range. This beautiful little 18 to 15K range. We're kind of holding mid. So yeah, just to talk about what I think is gonna happen in the short term, I think we're gonna get a move today or tomorrow in the next 24 hours to 17.2-ish. This is my kind of POB breakdown area. And this is probably where I'd look to get short and get back down to like the 16.4 weekly open, our previous weekly open.
I like it. Zoom out a little bit. What's your macro thesis for the next quarter?
Oh, macro thesis for next quarter, dude. Okay, so it's just gonna be chop. It's gonna be hopefully a breakdown of this range. So actually put that back. Breakdown of this range, get down to like this, and then eventually somewhere in the 12, 10K area. That's where I want to see us kind of bottom-ish and just go sideways for like 90 days. I want to see prolonged sideways. I think that's kind of the overall high time frame thesis I have going into next quarter is we form some sort of base, whether it takes 60 days, 90 days, 150 days, however long it takes. But we basically go sideways. We lose a lot of volatility, and the market gets basically very boring. And at which point we can kind of start arguing that a echo bubble rally is coming. And that's kind of what I'm looking to trade on the long side.
You don't think echo bubble in Q1 of 23?
I don't necessarily have a time frame. I just need to see prolonged sideways, right? So like if you want to argue that this is the base we're going to do the echo bubble rally from, okay, it's been what? It's been about
30 days.
30 days, right? Something like that. Yeah, 30 days. So again, I want to see 90 days at bare minimum. So that takes us to February. So if we get that Chinese post-Chinese New Year rally, that is something I would look for.
Okay. How do you feel about the base we developed pre-FTX nuke?
Yeah, that's interesting, man. I still think it was kind of like consolidation before continuation lower, right?
So you think that move was coming regardless of FTX's implosion or not?
I honestly do. People will say we would have been at 25K, but the truth is like we're not at 25K. We are where we are. I get that that is a catalyst and a fundamental black swan, but I still think that, from if you zoom out, like we're really going to zoom out for a second. Look at this is where I see monthly support, like this 10 to 12K area. I just see us retesting that area. I don't necessarily think we have to go below it, but we can. But in the smallest sense, if we're going back to support, this is the support that started the 2020 bull run or 2021 bull run, whatever last cycle run you want to call it.
Are you back to exposure via spot?
I always hold spot, so I am a BTC maximalist through and through. At all times, I hold probably a too large percent of my net worth in Bitcoin, but that's just what I've learned to do as a maximalist. Now, in the last year and a half, I've sort of started thinking about pivoting. I see the fact that stablecoin futures are a thing now, so I necessarily think that it's probably good to start allocating more percentage-wise to cash than just holding strictly Bitcoin.
The good thing is we're young, so we have, the luxury to fuck up a few more times before things get important. So we can afford to just be all in all the time.
Exactly right.
But all right, what's your ETH versus Bitcoin thesis? How do you feel about deflationary? How do you feel about two? Are you
So this is something
reallocating?
that's really kind of gotten to me in the last 6 months. I've started, especially since the merge, watching the merge happen and seeing now that the whole idea of an ultra thesis is proliferating, which means ETH is a deflationary or starting to become a deflationary asset. We're burning more through fees and etc. than we're actually creating through proof of stake. I think it's going to be probably the best performing large cap this year going forward. I don't necessarily know how high, etc. price targets, but just when I look at this, ETH BTC weekly chart, dude, we've been in this range for like 500, 600 days now, right? Almost 600 days now. When this thing breaks out, if it's up or down, like you don't fade that, right? So like it's been in the upper half of the range. I'm pretty adamant that we probably break up eventually, but I would like to see one more test down here in this below 0.06 range, and that's where I would think about selling half of my Bitcoin for Ethereum for a good part of 9 months.
What's your current distribution? Are you 100% Bitcoin?
I am 90% plus Bitcoin and everything else in very
You
small amounts.
maniac.
Yeah, I enjoy watching my net worth go up and down. The more people can stomach.
I love that. Did you take any dinosaur trades in the last month? XRP,
No,
Doge, Litecoin?
honestly, no. I can't lie. Can't LARP. No, I haven't taken any trades at all in terms of dinosaur coins just yet. I have been looking at Litecoin. I think that is actually probably the interesting one going forward. Obviously, there's the narrative, the halvening, and then if we remember the last cycle, 2018, Litecoin kind of led us out of the bear market in terms of the majors, besides BNB and Link. So it's just a kind of a leading indicator, you might want to call it, in terms of like what price might do. But the thing I like about the dinosaur coins, man, is that I think now that we've seen the implosion of FTX and all these VC-backed coins, we're going to see a return to tradition, right? So maybe not in the way the OGs remember, but in some form of like all these dinosaur coins that don't have these giant VC bag holders and supply pressure, they're probably going to have the easiest time to pump moving forward.
You remember the 17, 18 cycle wars where you would just like try to allocate to alts versus BTC and then like quickly rotate back over to BTC and have those cyclical days?
That was
Like,
the bane of my existence. You didn't even chart alt USD charts. You
yeah,
charted alt BTC charts, and now no one
I
even looks at
don't
those things.
I don't even look at all BTC charts anymore. Everything I do is like derivative based now on alts at least, you know.
Especially because there's so many stable margin swaps, and that's because of the fact that coin margin is no longer as popular.
Shame, isn't it? I
You know,
still
it is for me as a BTC maxi. It is, but I think for the majority of market participants, I really do think that coin margin contracts are probably the future.
By the way, while we're chatting, if anybody wants to see any charts, just shoot them into the chat, whether, you know, alt pairs, USDT pairs, BTC, whatever. And also feel free to ask any questions as well. We do have the chat up so we can see them. All right. I'm going to pull my chart back up, or my screen back up. Bingo. It's funny that you were just talking about a base. I was just looking through some like old BTC charts I had, and I think I
Yep.
talked about this last stream. Um, Echo bubble is like super buzzword right now. So everyone, you know, GCR, you know, kind of started bringing the idea into fruition recently, and everybody's like, "Yeah, echo bubble, echo bubble." But in my recent opinion, an echo bubble is no longer going to be like a little move to like the 19Ks. You know, I think an echo bubble is going to be a similar move to what happened in, you know, I can actually remove these all now, but what happened in 2019, where we had this type of move, but it wasn't like a bull market again. You know, this was like the solid echo bubble. So if we see that kind of move, you know, it I think it'd be a lot higher than what everyone's expecting, and everybody would be super giga bullish here again, and you'd be like all time highs imminent. Everybody's like, oh, I'm all in, risk on, the funds are back, everybody's rich again, and then we're just gonna see a fucking, you know, a full cycle again.
I agree.
Um,
That's kind of also my thesis. If we do get an echo bubble rally, we go to anywhere between 28 to 33K. We have a CME gap at 28K that I just definitely want filled. And then I want to see 33K be like that line. Oh, we reclaimed the support line. We're bullish, right? And that's kind of like the tippy top.
and then, are you trading equities at all?
No, I'm gonna be a crypto trader for the rest of my life. I think I don't necessarily like legacy.
Yo, ISO, I'm actually gonna send you a link. I'm gonna have ISO join us as well. I think that it's super easy to have people join. So hold on, I'm gonna DM it to him so he can hop in if he wants. I don't know if you're busy or not, but feel free to hop in at any moment. I know. Um, but sorry, you said say that again for equities. You,
Yeah, I'm just not a big trader of equities. I've just been born in crypto, dude. Everything I've ever traded has been crypto. I had a brief stint in FX back in like 2016, but other than that, it's just been crypto only. It's just this is where I was born, dude. This is my culture, my lifeblood. Everything I do and love is crypto, crypto, crypto. So there's probably opportunity to trade other assets, but I just know this like the back of my hand. And just feel comfortable trading things I know.
I also have to thank you because the other night I was, you know, pretty long, and then and then Cole sent me a chart of his. I saw something like this, right? I saw that. I thought we retested and just moved straight out, but Cole's like, no, we're probably gonna retag like 1230, 1220. So I did minimize exposure. Big shout out to Cole. But
My pleasure, man.
I still think this shit gets retested up here.
Oh yeah, I
And
agree. I think we're
ASAP.
gonna get it very soon, very soon. Absolutely.
This is, and I don't, honestly, for Echo echo bubble vibes. Like, I think everybody's gonna get excited in the next like week if this happens. But I still don't think we'll have like an actual echo bubble move until maybe like February, March. Like that's the ideal goal, right? And like this
Yep.
will be a simple, a classic,
It'll
right?
be a
Whoops.
classic trend line rejection, swing short. Everyone gets bullish, and then you swing short, right?
Yeah. Tell me about. Oh, well, we have some. Hey, Josh. Are you look? So I know you were actually just telling me as well. You appreciate ISO because he gets you to trade some alts that you normally don't trade. Any alts that you're specifically looking? Any, DeFi movements you've seen? Any sort of
Yeah. So
volume
right
you've seen?
now, the most volatile coins have probably been sushi and chilies, and that's shout out to ISO.
I'm
I
I'm
don't
giving you
necessarily think.
the screen again. I want you to
Okay.
show me what you're looking at.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Chili's. This is actually a trade I'm currently in. Chili's has just been very volatile, especially the fact that we have the World Cup narrative going on. I think you probably get a lot of late shorts squeezed, assuming that Bitcoin and ETH kind of hold their levels here. Chili's just been a good coin to trade the last couple of days with the World Cup narrative, right? And GCR shorting it. Other than that, Sushi's been fun to trade. I think ISO was actually just telling me recently to bid this FUD.
The
Whenever you
sushi
see,
FUD.
yeah,
You
the
know what the
sushi
sushi
FUD.
FUD is? I forgot to read into it, but I saw a
I
bunch of.
didn't read any of it. I just know sushi or ISO said bid sushi, and I am thinking of bidding sushi, right?
Well,
So
guess who's here? He can tell us the FUD. I saw what up, brother. I don't know if his mic's working, but so you've bid
Can you
here.
guys hear me?
Yeah,
yep.
now we can. What up, brother?
Oh man, just get ready to go to the.
The
The what?
gym?
The gym.
Oh no, maybe he's had too many noons or claws today.
Too many claws last night? Nah.
Josh says sushi made a proposal. Dumb people thought it was them trying to steal funds. So Josh, is
I got
it bullish
so
or
many.
bearish?
Oh geez, I was getting double sound because of an idiot. All right, now can you hear me?
Yep,
Yes,
you're good.
sir.
Oh yeah, sushi has been high hit rate to buy any FUD. There's like 70 million in shorts right now, and you could draw a trend line right there. You get like a, I don't know, 123 maybe comes down to that. But where's that?
Yeah, 120.
Like 120?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the 61.8 fib of the whole move, right? So then if you look at sushi right now, they're still like actually, oh no, it came down funding rate.
Oh wait, you have it here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna show sushi.
So if you pull high block up, like
Yep.
there are 417 shorts to 121 longs, and then if you go look at the notional, it's 77 million.
Look at this delta, dude. This delta is ridiculous. Yeah.
But I've seen the reversals around like 150, 200. I mean, I'm looking at THD because it's just making me impatient. And we're like fucking around this 159 area, right? Holding that. But I don't know. You could do 154 and it can go lower because like the whole time GCR was short this coin, the delta was like 650 million in shorts. And I was like trying to buy it and I was just like, what the hell? And then he closes it. Obviously, the thing goes up 10% in a day. And it's just been like good to trade like scalps around delta reversals or just like even trying to pick like 3-4% moves on these things. But
So
like full on, we haven't had one yet. Sushi though, like I mean, I stopped trading that thing because I was trying to short it. Like we're like, oh, this is the range high. No, and it just literally stopped everyone out to like 150, and now you kind of had this, it came down to 130. It like fucked around, and now you just broke down the lows of 132. So it's like, what is the real demand level where you're going to get some sort of real buyer again? Like if this is a whole range though, it's kind of scary because then you can go back down to $1, right? Like it's pretty clean. You had the deviation 98 cents below like what 108, and then I thought like 142 was going to be the top, and we went to almost 150. So I don't know, Zoran, pull a mid range on that. Like where does that get you? We're sitting there.
121 basically. Yeah, and it hits the trend line. You have all
So
these little confluence.
Yeah, you buy mid-range tap first time. Good chance there's going to be demand. You're probably running around 100 million in short licks if you get there.
Yeah, you're probably
And
sweeping.
you have the trend line. And so the liquidity rests below 121. That wick right there is where a shit ton of people get stopped out. So I would look to bid sushi on a 119, 120 area. That's my plan right now. I think volatility and like is really drying up in a lot of this shit. Like open interest is complete crap on some of these alt perps. So like we're really scraping at the bottom of the barrel here, just like trying to. I'm like a scalper now on 10-minute charts, which is like what I used to be as a trader. But I don't know. That's what we have to deal with right now.
To both of you guys who use high block, and to a lot of people who don't understand how high blocks works, how it maps out liquidity, liquidations. You want to give a brief little run through on how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. Strip, you want to start, and I'll just kind of pull it up as you're talking.
Yeah. So real quick, like one thing I think people need to realize is that when we look at the liquidity on Bitcoin, Ethereum, any of these altcoins, whether it's Bybit data, Binance data, Bitmex, if anyone actually even trades there anymore, it's using data, APIs, whatever they're taking, and it's based on market orders. So their actual entries into either a long or a short. So like if you pull up the actual liquidation levels, Zoran, show them like kind of you can see green and red circles on there, like on the actual price graph. And what that's doing is it's telling you where someone has entered. So green is long, red is short. I don't think most people realize like the logic behind this. And then all it's doing is it's taking a theoretical liquidation level, because once you have position size and price, you can say like they lick at 25x, 50x, 100x. So if you think about 100x liquidation, it's going to be pretty high hit rate in the sense of that individual, whoever that position is probably going to get hunted. 50x, pretty good hit rate. So what I try to do when I look at these things is I look for clusters of 50 and 100x. And you can get full lick runs on the 25s, which are a blue bubble, and pink on the longs. And if you scroll down, you can see the legend underneath. Yeah, see how the bubbles correspond to actual lick levels. And then what those lick levels are telling you on both sides of the market are giving you the cumulative lick delta. So notional amount is going to change when you're looking at different tiers, which is something you can toggle at the top. So tier 1 is going to give you the most noise, but most granular data in my mind. It's going to give you the most accurate representation of how many positions get liquidated on either side, right? So when I use this, I look for high notional amounts on the delta, right? So like that would be like 77 million in short liquidations are possible right now in sushi. I think CHC had like 113 million last night. And then I try to look at the actual ratio at the top. So, 50 liquidations on the long side to 39 on the short side. When it's really skewed one side, like if that's when I kind of talk about one party being off sides, whether that's on the short side or the long side, and you get to those exhaustion points, that's kind of like how I have been trading this whole market, because it's so predatory. It's such a thin tape that it doesn't take a lot to move, like a lot in one direction. Obviously, these are high volatility assets. And so you can look at that from, just liquidity theory standpoint. And then kind of what Zoran and I just talked about on sushi, it's like, okay, how does that match up with TA? Well, maybe that's a mid-range, maybe that's a trend line, maybe it's a Kijun, maybe it's a pivot, like a Fibonacci retracement. So then you start to find multiple areas of confluence to develop a trade idea. And so like I did that on sushi, and it was fucking lights out for a while. And then it got like shitty. So I was like, maybe I'll go trade soccer coin. So soccer coin's pretty good. And then now soccer coin's kind of shit. So it's like this game of musical chairs of like, okay, what's the next?
Where's the hot ball of money, and what's the liquidity, and what's the volatility? Yeah, what can we trade and make money on? Yeah,
and it's largely based on this predatory environment with liquidations. It hasn't been
something to add to that.
Like, really,
based on market conditions, high block capital is very good in ranging conditions. Like what ISO is talking about, this predatory ranging environment. That's what you want to use a system that thrives in range-based behavior. But like, make no mistake that this will do jack shit when it comes to hard trending assets, either up or down. But it's good to just keep in mind in the back of your head that if you're looking for like any trending environment, you will where there's mean version, maybe from a trend standpoint, but also you can look at these liquidation levels and be like, okay, buying cluster, right? So if you see like 2 billion longs that we saw on Sunday night at 17.4, and you saw 20 mil longs come in at 17.300, or actually they came in at 17.4 and they liquid 300. So that's where you probably see these delta reversals and unwinds that we're talking about, and then you're basically just playing a game.
Those are the sheep. Yeah,
exactly. Those are the participants who always get. There's no friction in this game. I think that's one of the biggest points to keep in mind over the next several months is this market is going to bleed everyone dry. If you survive the last 12 months of down only, congratulations, but you have a much bigger task at hand, and that's to survive the chop. Most people think that they got away with their capital, but what they fail to realize is that moving forward, a lot of them are going to, die to death by 1,000 cuts because they're going to be trading this range thinking, oh, it's about the trend. Oh, it's about the trend, and just get stopped out time after time again.
So advice to people who are just learning to trade in the last 4 months. What do you got?
Be patient and kind of just limit your risk. Right now is not the time to be taking risk. It's just to survive and try to figure out what your edge is. But it's really just survive, to be quite honest. The advice is just survive, right? Because like we're going to get an echo bubble rally. The market's going to be green up only for a certain period of time. And if you blow all your capital now, you're not going to be able to participate in that rally. So it's just be patient and survive.
Love that. That's some advice I gave last stream too. That's why I'm trading smaller accounts right now, because I know I don't have an edge like I used to. Can
Beauty,
you?
right? You can actually run up a DGen account pretty nicely using just these liquidation levels as your system, right? And
that's
just
like all I'm doing right now.
Yeah, that's
no
what you
need to
can
have
do.
a lot of money in the market. It's also terrifying to have money on exchanges. So
Yeah.
it's like-
Yeah. So we seen.
So yeah. So it's like, I don't know, run it up, take it out, do it again, because the conditions are not right to trade anything with like considerable size on these alts. Personally,
Exactly. I like what CBS posted the other day about his 7.5K to 200, 300K portfolio or his account, because like that's what you want to do right now. You want to take small amounts and build them into larger amounts, because put those large amounts aside and then come back, in 90 days from now or next year, and then run that up. But for right now, just claw back what you can.
And a lot of people need to understand this who watch, see somebody run up an account like that, and they're like, "Oh my God, he ran up 7.5 to 300. I can do that." These guys are also isolating these accounts as positions, right? So like, I'll take an account with 10 grand on it, and I'll isolate that as a position. So I'll take that to a liquidation because it's considerably just one position. I'm not gonna just take the only 10 grand I have and then try to run it up to 300 grand. So if you're seeing that, don't be super inspired and be like, holy shit, he took 7 grand and ran it up to 300.
7.5 grand to lose 100 times before you.
Yeah, that's like he might even see that as one position and use the liquidation or like stop right before the liquidation. And then if he runs that account down to zero, it's not a big deal. It was just like, it was a single position and essentially. So if you see that, don't get super inspired and try to run up the only 7 grand you have by 25x leverage in long or short. It's not going to work. You need to be willing to lose that all.
It's the point you got across. It's just blank period. It's just not going to work. You are going to lose it, and you're better off for a rainy day when the echo.
100%. And like in an echo bubble situation, I'm trying to run a 5 grand account to 50 grand and for publicly, but like in this type of situation, I'm trying to run 5 grand to 7,500. I'm like, look, I successfully traded this small account to a smaller account and I had fun with it. But if we're in a fucking bull market, I'm going to run up those accounts to 100x multiples because you can. It's easier
because the market's telling you, it's up only. Just put on risk, punt, and walk away. And I think that's actually I do want to talk about it for a sec. People ask like, how do you play an echo bubble rally? What do you do? And I think I can just speak from experience, and the few other traders that I've watched alongside me kind of do very well last echo bubble. It's bet big, bet early, and walk away. The worst thing a lot of traders do is like manage their position in a strong trending environment, and they're just going to be doing a lot of UPNL by like stopping out, taking scratches, etc. Best thing you can do, not financial advice, just bet big, bet early, walk away, come back 60, 90 days later and take your profits and be happy.
Yeah. While you have iBlock open, can you pull up Litecoin for me, USDT pair?
Absolutely.
Some sort of perp. Because I'm
one thing I want about chart the asset that has the most liquidity. So right now, Binance can't finance alts.
Fair. And something that you both, you both mentioned, I like to like remind viewers often is that we use these types of indicators in confluence. It's like flying a plane. You don't look at the one indicator on the plane and say, yeah, we're going straight and level. You look at everything on the dashboard to, tie it all back to the conclusion that you're going in a certain direction. So when you're trading, these things are awesome cross-reference and confluence tools, but don't only try to look at one thing and then develop a narrative.
Exactly.
Tell me what you see.
Yeah, so I had some bids at 79 last night that I closed. I canceled before I went to sleep because I didn't want to hold any overnight risk. But yeah, so this 79 level, there were a bunch of 50x and 35x shorts or 75x shorts that is the highest you can do on Binance. I'm pretty sure for Litecoin. This got ran. This 75x. That to me tells me that this entire impulse move up of about 100 million shorts just got 100 million longs just got ran, and we just flipped the delta red, and now we have about 75 mil in shorts here. So as you
Is
can
that
see,
tier 1 or 5? Tier 1 or tier 5?
5.
Oh, so go. Yeah, I would look at tier 1 too to see the total notional amount.
So it's still 150-ish, so double the size, and before we had 2 at 37. So just looking at it from this perspective, we ran all the shorts or all the long liquidity down here, and now we're building up some short delta down here, and I'm pretty sure we'll probably see an unwind to the upside. And if you're looking at targets, you always just look at what these lick levels are, and what I like to do is set ask probably slightly before and see if you get a reaction. Because while you can have a bunch of liquidation levels, these are obviously higher or lower tiers, more granular. They might not actually mean anything. Some of the bigger clusters, what you'll notice, a liquidation level is valid if and only if you see a reaction at price that happens, right? So again, use it as a guide, use it in confluence with technical analysis, but what you're looking for is probably to see a reaction. That's probably something you can only see on order flow or just watching the tape live.
That's what I like to hear, and you're confirming my narrative. Hanzo had me enter some LTC at like 79, and so now I'm just like, round trip, golden ticket, yay.
No, this is where you probably add more, maybe?
Yeah, I just did, so thank you. What else we got on the menu? Do you ever, I know that ISO does, but Cole, do you ever just look at, benchmarks or indices just to get a narrative going on overall economical
I've
standpoints?
much more recently just been watching the Dixie. I don't know that I look at any other job numbers and such economic data that ISO does, and he can probably speak more to that. But just from a trader's perspective, I've definitely been looking at the DXY a lot more and have been finding it much more relevant and informing my decision or helping me make better informed decisions by seeing, if DXY is at support or at support, it's probably going to bounce. Probably don't want to long said shitcoin because I might just get slapped by the global macro on it.
Do you have an opinion on the fact that SPY's down 50 points and Bitcoin is kind of untapped?
The decoupling
Well,
will be
I think
televised.
you can't trade crypto alongside risk like you could a month ago.
Yeah.
Since what's happened, there's no correlation. So like when people are like, someday it's like, oh, Bitcoin showing strength against ES. It's like, dude, tomorrow it can't. Like, there's there's like the participation in the market isn't there. The volatility is pretty dead. We just had a pretty big move in equities. I mean, there's a trend line, the 200-day moving average it ran into.
Yeah.
I mean, the dollar had been going straight down. The dollar really does look like it's, I mean,
Pull up the
actually
dollar.
in like a bearish market structure from like a high time frame. So at 115 area, like, I don't know, you're just making lower highs and lower lows, right? So we're coming into like a pretty big support area, I would say, probably on the dollar. Like maybe
wait, I gotta turn it back on. Sorry.
maybe it's 102. But it hasn't really mattered in relation to like how Bitcoin trades, either with ES recently, right? So I don't know. It's hard to use those past kind of gauges of lockstep trading with ES with Bitcoin right now. I will say I probably trade, it does, around these big macro pivots, FOMC, CPI, those types of things. And then it probably comes more in line with risk. But right now it's pretty light data week. Like we don't have anything until Friday, core PPI, I think. And then we have initial jobless claims on Thursday, but like not much leading up to it. I think everyone's kind of bracing for what the CPI print is. FOMC, is it going to be as big of a deal? I mean, given Powell spoke, November 30th? And then, there hasn't been too much commentary from the Fed officials alone. So the market doesn't have too much to go off of right now. So I think like you're going into year end, volatility is kind of just like drying up, and there's not that much excitement around trading right now, outside of like liquidity in these altcoins. But like I haven't traded Bitcoin or Ethereum or even like in a long time, just because they're not exciting.
Yeah, he leaves the boring stuff for me.
Yeah.
I like to bang my head on the same thing 100 times until I make a decision to change.
I'm with that. I think we're very similar in that sense, buddy.
Oh yeah.
We did just have like a pretty solid move. It's crazy, dude. What a solid move today in Bitcoin is like a few hundred points.
8%.
Yeah, it's
well,
crazy.
we had like 8% move, and then like we had this bleed down into a fib into liquidity. And so like my thought was, okay, like if you looked at what 15.9 to basically 17.3 was, it was 8%. It was like 8.5%, somewhere around there. Yeah. And the move from 15.4 to 16.8 was that. And then we had like a consolidation bleed down into 16K, which is like a 61.8 fib on that move. And so, we did this move. And my thought is like, okay, like, is this a fake out above the range high? And then like we come back down into the 61.8, which is what, like 16.5, which is like what everyone's looking for. Last time it took 4 days. So I was like, maybe it'll take 4 or 5 days now. Like, I don't know. This seems very distributive in the sense that it could still come back down there.
Cole, how many days was that base right there for 19?
That base was 90 days, I'm pretty sure. So that's why, like, just to touch on that is like, even if this is the base for the Echo Bubble, this was actually 120 days. Even if this is the base for the Echo Bubble rally, we still have like at least 4 more months of this before we're going to create something worth having a move up, right? So I think when you're talking about, Bitcoin's down in the 17K levels, and if we get down even lower, God forbid or whatever, this is where, people from last cycle, I remember, like, we had $100 moves. You'd be like, holy shit, $100 move on Bitcoin. Like, my position size is huge. Like, $100 on my 100 Bitcoin. Wow, it's 10K, right? So we're getting back to the smaller denominator. And I think that's kind of even more volatile moving forward. As we get lower, we'll go back into a less volatile range.
Sad, man.
Yeah.
This shit's making me sad.
No, it should be brimming with optimism, because right now is where things are like closest to bottom, and this is where you want to like tune in, because that's when the point of maximum financial opportunity is, right? It's like when everyone wants to leave. So yeah, it's depressing to the people who've stuck around for the last 12 months, but if you touch a little bit of grass, you feel a little better mentally.
Absolutely. Well, are you guys building spot altcoin bags, or no? You're just going to try to catch the move when the momentum breaks?
I have a thesis on buying spot altcoin bags, but realistically, any of the ones I want to, I do not plan on buying for at least another 50% down on all of them.
Yeah, I'm not buying any.
There's just, there's such thing as bag holding, and there's things that I just don't subscribe to, and bag holding also just never the move. You can be an investor, but that's just another word for bag holder, in my opinion.
I don't know if you guys did prior, so I'll ask first, but were you guys writing any venture checks at all?
Not in the last 12 months, that's for sure.
ISO?
No. Valuations were just astronomically high, and the supply that had to come onto the market from a distribution standpoint of all of the capital that was injected into kind of seed round, private round stuff in this lead up is like, okay, who's going to be here to pick up the pieces? And, everything's on sale, right? And then if you think about just from a liquidity lockup standpoint, like, why am I going to lock up my liquidity in the vesting schedules that are now probably 2 years and out, and I don't really know what's going to be the next thing? Like, I haven't seen anything exciting in crypto, like in terms of like innovation, like that says, like, there's people who think gaming metaverse stuff's going to come back. Maybe, I don't know. That market is insanely saturated with a bunch of
what
shit.
is Axie like still $4 billion valuation, and they have like 3 users or some stupid shit.
Right. Like, the most attractive one to me, even the FUD around it, is sushi, just because fits into a narrative. You have institutional capital behind it. They seem to have a good head on their shoulders. There's a plan. Valuation wise, it's cheaper than Uni and some of the other alternatives. You can look at the idea they have to build out the DEX. I mean, it's been incredible to trade. Doesn't mean I'm like going to start buying spot bags. Like, could go to 70 cents and it looks really attractive, right? Like it's just I haven't seen too many exciting things in the market that are like, oh,
That's the
is gonna
thing,
work,
right? Like a lot of the
nothing
new
exciting.
stuff that's gonna take off is not even out there yet. And like that's why there's always
Yeah.
bag holders from last cycle that like that's just continuous sell pressure, whereas new projects that have yet to even like raise money, let alone start trading, aren't even, on the open market. So for people who own bags, I'm sorry to tell you, they will probably continue to go down another 50 to 90%. For people who are sitting on cash, do not buy old bags, buy new narratives, because there's always a new flavor of the month. If you look at CoinMarketCap, every single cycle, the top 100, even the top 25 coins change very, very frequently. Those that are there this cycle will most likely not be there next cycle. So look farther out the curve. There's probably a lot more alts that are going to perform other cycles or other narratives that did well this cycle.
Are you guys retiring Solana, or do you guys think Solana has a chance to have some sort of echo bubble pump too?
I think I would maybe consider
do.
buying at 3 for a mechanical bounce to God knows where, but I don't
To
necessarily.
God
I would
knows.
say if it got to 6 or 7, I would buy it.
6 or 7?
Yeah.
I want 3, dude. I just want that Sam level.
I think that we go
so
up to
the
high
guy
20s
who
before
bought
3.
all of the Solana, the guy who bought all the Solana from FTX, whatever that was, wasn't that an OTC deal?
Yes.
And he bought at a 50% discount?
Yes.
And he bought it where? $13?
I think it was 18. It was still falling.
Wait, who are we referring to here?
Alameda, or sorry, FTX, Alameda, whoever you call them, sold most of their sole position OTC before things collapsed to one single high net worth individual.
How long ago is this?
This was before they were announced or before they were insolvent. So I want to say it was in the 20 to 19 range. It wasn't down here.
I think mechanically this is going to 25, 20, at least. Like there's just free liquidity up there. And then probably back down to 0. But
0 is a good target.
But I feel like we could like do this range for a really long time.
Yeah, probably. It's just not good capital allocation.
No, and it's like I think the most bullish thing for Solana is to get rid of all of the affiliation with FTX, Alameda, everything that basically was toxic about it. And so there is the ability for a new cheerleader or player to come in, rehabilitate the ecosystem, because it seems like their NFT community is very strong. Like I'm sure someone could come in and cherry pick the protocols that work. Could do that with a lot of L1s, right? But I haven't fully given up on Solana. I just think like when you have an event like that, it takes a lot of time to digest, and it's like if you think there's value there and the ability to extract some value from the chain and kind of make a turnaround story, but that's attractive, right? Like that's what's happening with sushi, right? So that's my point about if you start to look at things and do some research and understand the market's not going to turn like immediately, but you start to formulate ideas around these things, because it's the same with stocks. Like why is deal flow down? Why are there no IPOs, and why are really not a lot of new investor capital going into things? Because there's plenty of things that can be picked up off the floor without locking up any of your liquidity, and you can trade like a liquid market, right? That happens in like massive downturns. So yeah, we can look for the new thing. I mean, I don't know if I'll even have a look at or access. Like I'm not quick enough for the deal flow. So there are things in the liquid market and the public market that can be attractive that you can make some good returns on. Maybe not like buy it at 2 cents and it goes to $10 type thing, but like
next cycle for sure.
Yeah, I mean
next cycle, but not any of these current coins, right?
No, probably not. Unless they're like exit pumps. There's always those random exit pumps. Like, dude, Balancer did it last night. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah,
Balancer
good luck finding out about that. I have no idea how to get on the inside of that stuff.
You just gotta. You literally
just
have
buy
to.
every
what is
spot
this?
on fucking.
What the fuck
Binance.
is this? Why does this happen? Like,
That's crazy.
but there's just no point. And then also Axie is honestly something I'd want to short here.
I saw
I think
that. Someone was like, it moved 50%. I was like, so what is it, $10?
Yeah, it went from. I mean, dude, so the first time we looked at this coin, it was 30 cents. So
Yeah,
it's
I know.
it's
25
so,
cents.
it's
That
so
was insane.
fucking.
All right, I
s-
gotta go to the gym.
All right, buddy, lift
This was
hard.
fun, man. I'll come on whenever. Enjoy, guys.
Absolutely, take it easy.
Later.
All right, did anybody want to see any charts? John Mayer trader is Magus is asking this John Mayer lad when his album releases. I wanted to take a look at. No, I actually had to look at my list. I have some funny
Don't
lists.
forget to check these.
And then I always
I'd
forget
love to know
check
what
them.
these are.
They
For
were
real.
at
Are these equities?
Yeah, these were all equity plays back in the day. I never delete lists. They're great nostalgia. And then there were tokens to short that everyone was shorting, right?
The big GCR short.
Yeah, it's hilarious because these are all fucking FTX related tokens, or
Well, dude, they're not trading anymore because it's all FTX tickers.
yeah, literally. There's tokens to short. If that isn't right, then what is? Imagine you held on to these shorts for a year and change, just for FTX to lock you
Rug
down.
you? Yeah,
Can you
that's
imagine?
unfortunate. No, I can't. I never
Did
traded
you-
on FTX, so can't really complain there.
I got really fucking lucky, man. I had like majority of my net worth on FTX for like 2 years straight. Like
Holy
when Bitmex kicked us all out,
Yup.
I started playing with other exchanges, and then I just ended up on FTX, and I like kind of never left until this year.
See, I did the smart thing and I just KYC'd on Bitmex and just stayed.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know if it was a smart thing overall because FTX had so many opportunities to trade any random perp. And I think that's how they destroyed it. Bitmex is just by listing any
Yeah.
random perp and just getting all the liquidity from the market.
and that's how I made a lot of money. Honestly, was like with DeFi. When DeFi summer kind of like kicked off, and then FTX was like, "How about we create perpetuals for all of these scams?"
Oh man, dude, I still like regret that. I think the biggest part of DeFi summer is that I just did not participate. I was banging my head trading Bitcoin in a 20% range, thinking I was a fucking G. Just to watch everyone, get sushi, uni, airdrops, etc., dog coins, food coins, whatever. Yeah, I missed that entire narrative, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's 6 figures in airdrops you just named.
Yep.
Like you didn't have to do shit, and there were a lot of people who didn't do shit and just got airdrops and then turned that money into extreme money.
Well,
Doge
that's
looks
the
heavy
thing.
here.
Next cycle, I do think that we'll kind of jumpstart the catalyst for the run with some airdrops, right? I have it on good authority. Actually, I wouldn't even say that good authority, but I've heard rumors that Arbitrum's airdrop is coming next week. So there's
Next week?
yeah, there's things in the pipeline supposedly that are going to kickstart liquidity for a lot of people who got burned and need liquidity. That's going to be through airdrops.
What's going on with like all the fucking Solana killers, like Aptos and all those scams that
Those
they raised?
they raised so much money that I think they're just going to have the same fate as any other Sam coin.
Billions.
It's
Billions.
sad, dude. I was so interested in the tech, to be honest with you. And I tried to get in on one of the rounds, and just at these valuations, dude, I'm good, thanks. I'll buy it 80% down from here. I'll buy the seed price.
A lot of people have like whenever I get on stream, a lot of people have been asking me to see like all these alts, and I can tell that you guys are bag holders, and I don't want to make fun of you for it because I did the same thing. But I have to let you know that you need to abandon your bags and start fresh.
Get help. Get fresh. Cut your
The
losses.
thing about this token is like, yes, it might 50% in one day, right? But you're not going to sell,
No.
and you're just going to wait for the next one, and it's going to go lower and drip. It's going to drip. Like this is the type of shit that has billions in distribution coming from VCs. So, sorry, Marty. I know you wanted a CGRT, but it's a no trade. A lot of these things are no trades, and I'm sorry that you have to hear that from me, because no one else is going to tell you these things. Like, look, I explained this once. This is what's going to happen. It's going to do this, and it's going to do this, and then you're going to be hopeful, and then it's going to do this, and then it's
I'm
going to
just
go
sending
right
you
back
a
to
picture. I'd love for you to share with your streamers, just to
Absolutely.
let them know what they
Yeah. An all-time classic. Hold on, how can I open it up? What the fuck? It won't even let me open it up. Hold on, I'll do this. There you go.
This is what you can expect for all of your bags. If
And-
you're not like halfway through this, you're somewhere else.
And we're probably like just right here, right? Somewhere right here.
Yeah.
So we'll do this like another 10 times and you still won't sell your bags. And I
And
didn't
you'll be
sell my bags,
screaming the whole way down.
but you're gonna have fun and you're gonna go to
And you'll
Thanksgiving
own
again.
nothing and be happy.
But in all reality, a lot of people are asking me like, "Yo, how do I allocate? How do I allocate?" Don't allocate to alts at all.
Just don't
Uh,
allocate, period. Just wait for confirmation. Most of your viewers will do much better waiting for confirmation of the golden bull run, echo bubble, whatever, than buying the low.
I
That's
disagree with one thing. I
okay.
have always, my brother and I both, like every single day of my life, I have auto purchases on strike, $30 a day for Bitcoin. Why? One reason, it's insurance. If I ever go bust trading, I have this like bag of Bitcoin that has just been accumulating for years. And I think it's more important that like, yeah, I probably accumulated a bunch in the 20 to 30K range, but like if I fucking, ever get swept by an exchange or have like, some sort of custodial issue or blow up or whatever the fuck it is, at least I kind of swept a bunch of Bitcoin in the 90-day range at, 10 to 19K. And next cycle that might be worth something.
I agree. No,
Um,
DCA Bitcoin, I always agree with. Just alts, I don't agree to allocating at all.
I don't know. I don't understand why DCA Bitcoin is such like a toxic conversation topic. It's like, you
Because
know,
you're talking to different traders and investors, different time
yeah,
horizons. Like your average retail investor does much better DCAing because they just don't have the time to invest and look at the market every day. People who are generally watching charts every day, like you and me, probably have a slightly better edge in probably not buying pumps or buying dips and versus not buying pumps. Whereas the average retail investor just does not know the difference.
yeah, absolutely. Jay Millen says, "Is APT a good short?" And 0x Therapy Hour says, "I cut my losses yesterday, 25K to $70. What dog coin do I invest in?" My brother, invest in therapy. Unironically enough. APT, I know a bunch of my guys were trading this yesterday. Shout out Hanzo and Dater, but I would see this as exhaustion and no longer wants to continue upwards. But I probably wouldn't short it. It's a no trade for me. Actually, maybe I would for like if there's enough volume and liquidity, I'd scalp this to like 480. But I'm not suggesting you do it. None of this is financial advice. What else? What else? You got any alpha to leak out here? Cool.
Alpha to leak. No, I don't at the moment, unfortunately, other than yeah, no alpha. Dude, I can't even think of what I have as alpha right now. Probably nothing. If I can't think of it, then
Probably
I just
probably
don't
just
have it.
go to the gym and go
Yeah,
outside.
speaking of, I think that's it for me, man. It's time to hit the gym. I woke
Yeah,
up
I
early for this
actually.
gym and that's here to hit the gym now.
All right, but before you go, I want to thank you for coming. That was a lot of fun. Anytime you want to come on, bang my line. And I also want to announce, I don't know if I'm allowed to, but I know that you and ISO are working on something cool and you'll be providing alpha to the public. So to those watching, be on the lookout for that. Also, big shout out to Phemex powering my streams. I trade on Phemex and you should too. That is not
Love it.
financial advice, but
Thanks for having me, Ponzi. It's been a pleasure, man, and we'll be in touch, bro.
yes, sir. Take it easy.